If you've been feeling distant or disconnected, today is your invitation. The 5-day intimacy challenge is open for Cyber Monday with pay what you want pricing. In just a few minutes a day, you can rebuild closeness, soften the tension, and feel connected again. Start today. Go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com/Cyber Monday.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
From Estero, Florida, this is a One Extraordinary Marriage show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex has taken the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DiLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call or text us on the Hug Hotline at 858-876-5663. Or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's episode, we're diving into a cozy, heartwarming way to stay connected during the holiday season. The hustle is real, but so is the opportunity to slow down and invest in your emotional intimacy with something as simple as cookies, cocoa, and conversation.
There's an anonymous quote that says, "All I need is a little bit of coffee and a whole lot of you." And I'm just going to say, for those of you that aren't coffee drinkers, substitute in your, tea, hot cocoa, whatever it might be. But I think about this quote, it does make me think of Tony because I do enjoy my coffee and I do enjoy a whole lot of Tony. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. But we start every episode with a hug. And a hug is really an opportunity to share what you're doing, to share how you're being intentional in your marriage. And, when we get to meet people around the world as we travel, so many people tell us that this part of the episode is their favorite part. They love hearing what you're doing because it gives them hope. Mm-hmm. And this hug came from a comment that was in the One Family private Facebook group that said, "We had to redo our master bathroom several years ago and made our shower 3x5 with a shower head on each side. Our kids know it's totally normal for us to shower together. So if we travel and have to stay in a hotel, they think nothing of us being in the shower together. LOL. They also look at showers in houses on the internet and will say things like, 'That shower isn't big enough for both of you.' Praying that they shower with their spouses too."
I agree. And there's been a big chatter online about showering together recently, which is very interesting because we've been talking about this for many, many years.
I would think, those of you that have listened to every single episode can probably correct us on this, but I would have to think almost from the beginning.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but it was just very interesting seeing a lot of the comments. Again, the disconnect that is happening in our marriages, and it is something as simple as showering together. It baffles me at times, and when I think about the 6 pillars of intimacy, the shower is one of those amazing places where we can be emotionally intimate, we can be physically intimate, we can be sexually intimate there. We could be financially intimate, talking about finances. We could be talking about, it brings the emotional part of it, but I think it's a really amazing place for you as a couple to get away from the world and everything else and just look and be with one another.
And that's not the focus of today's episode.
It's not, but I just wanted to share that.
Although the conversations really do, tie in those conversations that you can have in the shower. And as we're starting this episode, just think about the fact that December can really feel like a marathon, right? You're doing all of these things. You've got the shopping, you've got the wrapping, you've got the decorating, you've got work events, school concerts, family traditions, travel plans. And then there's this person that, you share a bed with, and you can find yourselves feeling really disconnected, right? With all of the have-tos and the obligations and the must-dos. And you can put yourself in this headspace too of, well, it's only this time of year. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, how many times have we heard the phrase, Christmas only comes once a year? I think that's probably, part of every Hallmark Christmas movie. Like, it's only this time of year. And, the Christmas lights are only up this time of year. And we only bake Christmas cookies this time of year. And so there are all of these things that are only this time of year. But all that frenetic, frenzied energy can actually put the two of you in a place where you're not connecting because you're so busy doing all of the other things that feel like they have to get done.
I also think it's a time of year when, if we're already disconnected, the gap widens.
Oh, for sure.
And this is a time of year where we can also feel rather lonely in our own homes with our spouse because of, like you said, that frenetic just activity. And yet we can just sit on a couch or be somewhere and be like, I feel alone right now. And I share that because I think Elisa and I both could tell you at some points in times in our own marriage with trying to fill gaps and voids in our own hearts and our own souls. This time of year, we have been disconnected more than any other time of the year.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this year for us. I'm just saying in our 29 years of marriage, there are definitely times when I think I felt the loneliest this time of year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the first, I think, symptoms of that disconnect is when those conversations go back to being surface level.
Absolutely.
Right? When you get into this place where it's all about logistics and timing and, what time's the holiday party, or did you get the gift from mom, or, I need help wrapping presents. And it's all of this just like we're not doing stuff together necessarily. It's just like we're so just laser focused on the tasks that we forget about the tangible interactions with the people. And very specifically with our spouse, because we can make Christmas merry and magical and all the things for our kids, and we can do it for our parents. And this has been, Tony and I get, I think, just because of our journey over the last 30 years and all of this kind of stuff, like we can see, and you sort of alluded to it, just what the Christmas season has looked like for us. For those of you that are brand new to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show, welcome. We're super excited to have you here. For those of you that might not know, both of our children have their birthdays in the 2 weeks or the 3 weeks between Christmas and New Year's. Our kids are 2 weeks apart.
No, between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thank you. Yes, we just had Thanksgiving and I'm already like on to the next holiday. Yes. So Thanksgiving comes, Abby birthday, 2 weeks later, Alex's birthday, 10 days later, Christmas, roughly. And so we've been in this energy, especially when the kids were little and we had birthday parties and all this kind of stuff. And then we lost a child. I delivered our son, Andrew, the day after Alex's second birthday. And so December took on this really weird, for many, many years, December took on a very weird spot. And our conversations did get very surface level. Like I had a hard time year in and year out with processing my emotions, because I will tell you, that would be 21 years ago now. That's crazy. There wasn't a lot being said about postpartum. There wasn't a lot being said about, dealing with the loss of a child and this kind of thing. And so Tony and I got really surface, and, December would come around and I'm like, let's just keep it up here.
And I was usually praying, like, get us through this as quickly as we can, Lord. Like, get us through it so I can get into January and I can get my wife back and myself back, I think, at times, too.
Absolutely. And, it's one of those things, and that can happen for a lot of different reasons. I mean, for us, it was, just all of the energy. It was hosting parties. It was feeling like I had to. Like, I remember we just saw some friends, talking to some friends a few weeks ago, and I was talking with her, and she's like, so I need the new address, right? Because I need to send you a Christmas card. I just looked at her. I'm like, you do know you're not getting a Christmas card, because I don't do Christmas cards. She's like, I know, but I do. So this was and that's one of those choices, right, that we start to make. Like, how are we going to make time to have the conversation so they don't stay in this transactional place, right? Like, I think even just, last week, as we're trying to get through the logistics of Thanksgiving, right? It's just the four of us, which was beautiful and just this really magical day. And one of the things that we do is we spatchcock a turkey, which means that you like cut out the backbone and you
just splay it out.
Thank you. I'm like, it's kind of like you do the Heimlich on it. And
if you haven't seen what a spatchcock turkey is, and you cook a turkey either for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or any other time of year, I would highly recommend checking it out, because it cuts your cook time like in half probably, and the turkey just comes out wonderful in our opinion. And we've been spatchcocking a turkey for many, many, many years. But in this, you have to cut out the spine, basically the backbone. The backbone. And you have to cut that out. Well, I have a tool that I've used. It's a plumbing tool, and you cut it, and it'll just boom, 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 cut right through it. But with all of our moves, especially from California, last year we didn't do Thanksgiving. We were invited to some friend's house. And then this year we moved just recently, for those of you who do know or don't know. And I went to my toolbox looking for this tool.
Well, let me back up. Like, I have started all the slides. Like, I've got this whole timeline in my head, which I also communicated. It was not just in my head. Like, I'd laid out the expectations. Tony went and, played basketball, comes back, does all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, it is time. Like, it's time for you to like splay my turkey. Like, I need to get this in the oven. And he's like, okay, I'm going out to get my tool. And I'm like, fabulous. We are looking at the time. We're going to be right on time for a 3:00 dinner. And then
I cannot find the tool for the life of me. And I don't know where it is. And in the 15, almost 16 months now since we moved from Southern California to here, I don't know where it is. And I'm looking up and down in different toolboxes that I have, and it's nowhere. And so I know for Elisa, she's like, we're on a time schedule. And so the last thing I can think of is I have a crowbar in my toolbox, and I'm like, well, I'm going to just sharpen this edge up, and I'm going to wash it down, and we are going to use a crowbar, and we're going to just take out that backbone, and we're going to move forward. And it actually, you know what? I will have to say, by the grace of God, neither Elisa nor I got mad or upset at one another, which would have most likely happened in years past.
Oh, 100%. I was so good this year. No tantrums.
And you know what? We just sort of said, all right, well, we got to get this thing done. And obviously nothing's open, which is great. And I am glad that most stores here in Southwest Florida were shut down and closed so that those folks, team members, could be at home with their families. And I'm just sort of like, well, we got to just get this thing done somehow or another. I mean, I could have used a saw. I could have used anything else. I just happened to pull out the crowbar, and it made for one of those Thanksgiving memories.
Yes. And, you bring up a couple of things there. One is that, we had to actually work together in our conversation around that, right? Like, we had to talk about it, because my natural tendency when my turkey's not going to go the way it's supposed to go is like, what are you? I'm like, all right, well, we're pushing Thanksgiving back 4 hours because I'm going to have to bake it whole. But we also chose in that moment, to address what could be the tension, because so often when we're disconnected, that tension of my turkey is not going to go the way I think it's going to go can easily put a spike into, what is seemingly a minor issue. Like, we were still going to have turkey one way or another, but I had this timetable. We talked about it, right? And it can just be that, that fire starter, right? Where something doesn't go well, and then those tensions spill over. And then you can have this place of loneliness of like, hey, I've been talking about this turkey for a week now and telling you my timeline, and we talked to the kids about eating at 3 and all this kind of stuff. And it starts to pull you apart. And you all know that when your emotional intimacy pillar, when there isn't that disconnect, when those conversations go way back surface level, when you get into this place of just tension over everything and you're feeling lonely, it impacts every other pillar. You might start having sex less because you're in this place of we're not talking. Why am I going to have sex with you? Right? The touches become less frequent. You're definitely not sitting on the couch together after, turkey dinner. If you are sitting on the couch together, you have each reverted to the his and her sides, and you all know what I'm talking about. There's one corner on the left and there's one corner on the right, and there's a whole lot of distance in between because it's easier, right? You can just be in that place. And we get away from having this intentional time together. Mm-hmm. And I think, like Tony said, he and I have had so many holidays, specifically, I would say the month of December, where we have been lonely because we haven't worked through or addressed the things that need to be addressed. We haven't made time. We've said, you know what, all of these other things are so much more important, instead of saying, wait a minute, what happens if we make time for us and we give this relationship a little more emphasis, not necessarily the same amount of time. We're not, minute for minute here, but we put a little more emphasis on the couple And then out of that overflow spills the ability to handle everything else that the month of December is going to throw at you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really like when we talk about coffee, cocoa, and conversations, that's really what this is about. Like, how do you have that intentional time and you frame it around maybe creating this little micro tradition for yourself and being intentional about your time together. We're going to talk about that after this break.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
When the holidays hit full speed, I look for gifts that feel meaningful. Something people use past Christmas morning. My win this year is Cozy Earth's bamboo knit pajamas. These are the pajamas that you put on the first time and immediately think, oh, that feels so good. I love how they make me feel, and I love cuddling up with Tony when I'm wearing them. They absolutely invite connection with your spouse because they're so soft. Whether wearing them or holding your spouse while they wear them, you'll both enjoy them. Cooler than cotton, lightweight, and perfect for slow holiday mornings or winding down after a long day. This is a gift that everyone on your list will love and will wear year-round because it just feels that good. And the best part? Cozy Earth makes it risk-free with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. This weekend only, from Thanksgiving Day through Cyber Monday, get 40% off at CozyEarth.com with code MARRIAGE. It's the best deal of the year. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. We're back. And while this has been kind of an episode that sort of talked about our funny crowbar turkey, and I do think that 2025 will be known as the crowbar turkey. I wish the kids had seen it.
I know.
They were both in their own spaces, just doing their own things, taking showers and whatnot. But the crowbar turkey really did highlight what could have gone wrong, what didn't go wrong. And that when you get intentional about the time together, when you make time for one another, because what we didn't tell you in this whole, great Thanksgiving Day recap is that morning, one of the things that Tony had wanted to do, he's like, hey, let's go out to the beach. Let's just get a beach walk in. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm like, I'm up for it. As long as we're back in time, again, timing. As long as we're back in time for me to do my turkey. And so we drive to we drive past one state beach and drive to the second where he really wanted to go. And we go to drive in, and it was closed. The gate was closed.
It's a holiday, and
holiday.
Should have thought about that. And it's more for parking. And here in Southwest Florida, that's one of the toughest things here. That's different than San Diego is parking to get to the beaches. And so it actually frustrates me a lot. And some friends of ours are like, "Oh, it's perfect. Parking's great. Just right there, boom." But it was closed, so we sort of meander to another beach, and they were doing some work on that area.
Beach restoration
down
Super
there.
Super important.
And so I was like, I don't know if I really want to walk on and deal with beach restoration, this and the other. So anyways, what ended up happening was supposed to be a beach walk and talk, mm-hmm. which we didn't have the nicest day either. We didn't have our nice blue skies in Florida yesterday either. So it was sort of cloudy and cool, and which is okay. But what should have been a walk and talk on the beach turned into just a nice drive. And we had amazing conversation. I don't even think we had the music on or the radio on. And we just sort of meandered through Estero, Bonita Springs, Naples, back up home.
But what we did do is we did stop.
Well, I was going to say that.
Okay, Go ahead.
Yep. And then we stopped and got Elisa her Starbucks coffee, because she wants, when I talk about, when we say, hey, coffee, and that's Elisa, and then stop by McDonald's to get my unsweet iced tea, and we just sat in there for a little bit and hung out before we headed back home.
And we made time for that, right? Even in my time schedule of here's all of the things I want to get done on Thanksgiving Day. Here's where I think like logistically I've mapped it all out. I did a little ChatGPT, help me out with my scheduling and things like that. I made the time that morning for Tony. I said, this is how we're going to start. And that, when you think about making time, picking a time that's going to work for the two of you and getting it on the calendar is so important, right? Because there are so many things right now that will eat your time. In the month of December, you could be busy every night of the week. You could be doing something or say yes to so many different things. Or you can choose initially, where am I going to say yes to my spouse, right? And this doesn't mean you have to go out and do something, right? It could be, hey, we're going to put up the Christmas tree and we're going to have time, just the two of us with a cup of tea, a couple nights a week in front of the Christmas tree. I love white lights on a Christmas tree. It's a thing. Our Christmas tree is going up. I can't wait for it because I love that. I love just that quiet, soft light. Maybe you get up early in the morning and you have a cup of coffee together, but you're picking that time intentionally. And again, please hear me. I know this month is crazy busy full. I'm not talking hours. Tony and I probably spent, 20 minutes in McDonald's by the time, we'd been talking the whole time, but probably when we both had our drinks and we were sitting at McDonald's, it was probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was probably 15, 20 minutes max.
It's choosing to also just make it cozy, right? If that's hot cocoa, if that's, a cup of tea, if that is a coffee, whatever it is for you, grab that favorite drink. Maybe you have, one of your many have-tos might be the Christmas cookies, right? So maybe you grab a few of the Christmas cookies and you have those as your special treat. Or you, like I said, you turn on those tree lights so you've got kind of that ambiance there, or you are in front of the fire. Those of you that have fireplaces, we are finally in a home that does not have a fireplace. So whether it works or it doesn't work after all of our rentals, not an issue. We don't have to deal with it now. But you create an atmosphere that invites the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Christmas tree lights are kind of like the December version of candlelight. Everybody looks good and it just feels great. So use it to your advantage. And then get into those conversations. Make time not to talk about the logistics. Don't sit in front of your Christmas tree and be talking about, I still have to buy gifts for Aunt Susie, or, we've got 3 Christmas concerts this week. But get into different types of conversations.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing when it comes to these conversations. There's always going to be the logistics, I feel.
Yes.
Maybe some of you are different than Elisa and I, but I do feel like there are logistic type questions that will come up. It's being able, though, to direct the time together that we don't only sit in there and only stick to that. And so I'm going to put a link here for our newest program called the 5-Day Intimacy Challenge. And I'm going to put a link here in our episode notes for you, because each of those days is going to give you an ability to have a conversation, a question to get moving past. And the reason we're doing it this way is so that way it's short amount of time, 10 to 15 minutes, ask each other a question. You have something there so you can go logistics, but you can also go, hey, let's talk over here real quick. And so I'll put a link here in our episode notes for you, because the time we go through the logistics, but we got to switch over and go, okay, what's really going on with you? What's really happening right now with us in any of our pillars of intimacy?
Well, I think too, it's bringing back the curiosity factor, right? We can become so focused on the to-do list that we forget the who are you questions. What's meaningful to you? What are some memories that you have? I think about this and having both of our children here in Florida, and we're talking about past holidays and we're talking about past birthdays, because again, this comes up at Thanksgiving because their birthdays are so close to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, you get into these memories, and not that we're talking about living in the past, but coming to this place of saying, hey, what was special? What are some of the special Christmases that we've had? What is a tradition that you and I do, or maybe that you've wanted to do, that would be really special and we just haven't taken the time to implement? What's one thing, maybe you all need to have the conversation. What's one thing that we just don't need to do? It's just become an obligation. And we could take it off of our calendar this December and still be good. Let me tell you something. As much as I love seeing all of your Christmas cards, and I do, those of you that love Christmas cards, when I relieved myself of the Christmas card obligation thing, it just didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay because we all find our own way. But at the end of the day, what are you doing in one of the most, I think, intense, busiest, frenetic months of the year? Because not only is all that holiday stuff going on, but everybody's like wrapping up to a calendar year, right? We're sliding into 12/31, right? It's just like, what do I got to get done work-wise and family-wise and all the things? How do we, and Tony has said it probably a million times on this podcast, what are you doing to stay intentional, to be intentional and take action?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't let that slide here in this month of December. Find the 15 minutes, get cozy, ask questions. Don't just sit in silence, right? But don't ask the question, hey, what's next up on our list to do? Get curious. Mm-hmm. What's a Christmas memory that you have? What's a Christmas tradition you want to start? What would make this Christmas magical for you? Not for the kids. Not for the kids. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Trust me. I know. Make it about the two of you. Make time for the conversations and to get to know your spouse as this year wraps up.
Yeah. In the hecticness of this time of year, it is nice to just get some coffee, get some cocoa, have some conversations, and enjoy one another. Emotional intimacy by far is what is going to bring you close and connected. All the others fall into play. And so you may be sitting here going, well, Tony, my husband isn't, or my wife isn't a talker. I get it. I'm not saying you got to be a talker. What I am saying is that you need to be able to converse and have some conversation about the two of you, about your marriage, about the state of your marriage, about what's happening in your life and in their life. And with that, a little bit of practice, you'd be surprised what could happen in 4 weeks from now, 4 months from now, a year from now. So go out there, get started. But remember, this time of year, we celebrate our one and only Jesus Christ. That's what this season's about. So let's not lose ourselves in that. So take care. Have yourselves an amazing week. We'll catch you next week. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. If you love this podcast, please leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Your review helps others find the show and know that it's the right fit for them and their marriage.